Howdy howdy, what's going on you guys? Welcome to the video for Elden Ring. My name is Ventus. In this video, I'm going to show you where to get the Great Sword as well as 3 extremely powerful builds for using the top 3 best Ashes of War for a Great Sword. Now before I get into it, please sub to this channel for Elden Ring, like the video, and also check out my sponsors for this video, AOEA.com. Over at AOEA.com, you can find dirt cheap prices for things like weapons, items, and even runes. They work with every platform and are fast. The link to their store will be in the description of this video. You can use code SGN at checkout for my discount. Now, first things first, if you don't have the Great Sword, it's extremely easy to find. Just head to Caelid using the Caelid Ruins Grace site and head towards the broken down wagon being guarded by the T-Rex looking dogs. The sword is on the wagon in a chest. Once you get it, enhance it to a decent level. I suggest somewhere between 20 and 25. I have mine at plus 24 and it does amazing damage. Now, for the first build, you will need the Ash of War for Bloodhound Step. When you equip it, give it the heavy quality so the sword strength scaling jumps to A, and you can use spells on the sword. This build was inspired by the new upcoming game Thymesia. The idea is to be able to get in and get out using incredible movement speed while wielding a large greatsword. The armor I'm wearing for this build is my usual Zamor set, and the talisman are as follows. First is Radagon's Sword Seal. Now this talisman is pretty much used on all 3 of the builds I'm going to show you today. Next is the Star Scourge Heirloom for increased strength, then the Rotten Wayne Sword Insignia, and finally the Fire Scorpion Charm. This is to complement one of the incantations I'm about to show you for this build. And those incantations are as followed: Golden Vow for a slight raise to defense and attack power, Flame Grant Me Strength for more strength, Blessing of the Erd Tree for heals over time, Black Blade for a nice and long ranged attack, then Giant's Flame Take Them for a medium range fire attack, and then finally Blood Flame Blade, the centerpiece of this build. For the mixed physic, use Stone Barbed Cracked Tear for increased stance breaking power and Flame Shrouding Cracked Tear for increased fire damage. How I use this build is easy. Cast all of my buffs first and enhance the Great Sword with Blood Flame Blade. Then, depending on how far away my target is, I'll use one of my attack spells. For a target that is fairly close, it's Giant's Flame Take Thee. Then when they come closer, I'll use Bloodhound Step to close the distance and do a stabbing strike. Or else it's easily dodge their attacks using Bloodhound Step and attack them from behind. The stance breaking is pretty easy with this build, so after a few strikes and their stance is broken, I will either charge attack them or activate the special attack when they are staggered to finish them off. For the second build, you'll need this time, instead of using Bloodhound Step on the Greatsword, use Lion's Claw and give it the heavy affinity. Lion's Claw is a jump attack that completely smashes your target into the ground. Use the Gravelstone Seal for this build because we're going to be using a few lightning spells as incantations. For the talisman, use Radagon's Sword Seal, then the Lightning Scorpion Charm for increased lightning damage, the Claw Talisman for stronger jump attacks, and finally the Shard of Alexander for increased skill damage. For the mixed physic, use the Stone Barbed Cracked Tear for increased stance breaking power, and the Lightning Shrouding Cracked Tear for increased lightning damage. The incantations for this build are Golden Vow, Flame Grant Me Strength, and Blessing of the Erd Tree. For offensive spells, use Lightning Spear for ranged attacks and Electrify Armament to add lightning element to your sword. I use this build like the last, using Lightning Spear as a ranged attack before closing in on a target. When they get close enough, use Lion's Claw to clobber them, and then from there either do it again or get off a jump attack. Again, stance breaking comes in super handy with this build, so chances are they will get stance broken with either the Lion's Claw attack or the jump attack with help from that Claw Talisman. And the third build is going to be using the fire element, so be sure to equip the Giant's Flame Seal. The Ash of War to use with this build is Eruption. This Ash of War lets you slam the sword into the ground and bring up lava that sort of manifests and stays in the area, causing fire damage to any target that touches it. And what's really cool about this is that the sword plunging into the ground is also a melee attack, as well as when pulling it back up, so this Ash of War fully protects its activation by dealing damage on startup. The armor I'm using with this build is something that will give me a little bit more poise than the Zamora armor set. I'm wearing Diallo's mask with Haslow's armor chest and the Preceptor's trousers. For talismans with this build, I use Radagon's Sword Seal, the Fire Scorpion Charm, the Rotten Wing Sword Insignia, and the Shard of Alexander. Incantations are the Golden Vow, Flame Grant Me Strength, Blessing of the Erd Tree, and Flame Sling. Flame Sling over Giant's Flame because it has a longer range and uses less mana. For the mixed physics, I go again with Stone Barbed Crack Tier and the Flame Shrouding Crack Tier for stance breaking and extra fire damage. Using this build is a little different from the others because I use fire grease on my sword to give it extra fire damage. Now I know I could use the Flame Art Affinity on the sword when choosing Ash of War, but I feel like no one uses greases in the game, so here's a build where grease is an essential part of the build. But if I'm being really honest with you, I just like the way a flaming sword looks. Now, just like with the other builds, you close in on a target with a ranged fireball attack, then when you get within range, just use Eruption. Eruption should give them a little knockback, allowing you to roll, dodge, or step away from their counterattack, giving you freedom to jump attack them or do a rolling stab on them. If this video was helpful to you in any way, shape, or form, you can show me your thanks by giving this video a like. For more Elden Ring quick guides and videos, please head on over to my channel and browse my playlist for Elden Ring. While you're there, turn on my notifications so you don't miss an upload. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a great rest of your day. Peace out.